Hey guys, welcome back to Girl Take Note, the podcast where we like to deep dive into all things growth, empowerment, entrepreneurship, and the messy, beautiful journey of becoming the best version of ourselves so we can really turn our passions into profits. I'm a Shaunie Sanders, of course, and today I'm going to talk about 5 big mistakes that I've made and mistakes that, believe it or not, ended up being some of the best teachers I think I've ever had in my life. Now, I know no one wants to talk about mistakes because we don't want to admit to them, but most of us will probably love a cheat sheet to avoid another one. But sometimes I think those blunders and missteps give us exactly what we need to grow and level up and even change the entire course of our lives. So today I'm sharing my 5 major mistakes that really transformed me in ways I could have never imagined. And my hope is that maybe you can learn from my journey, because I love to talk about people's journey on this show, and see your own challenges in a new light. So let's go ahead and dive into this episode. This is Girl Take Note, a podcast for women who are looking to turn their dreams into reality. All right, so let's get into mistake number 1, which I like to call the career leap without a parachute. Looking back, I really thought I was ready to take on the big job that I last had, right? But I wasn't prepared for how intense it would be. I thought I could figure things out. I thought I could figure everything out as I went along, but I quickly realized that wasn't the case. I ended up feeling totally overwhelmed, stressed, and completely lost. The big lesson here, preparation is key. I realized that if you're going to take a leap, no matter if that is entrepreneurship or a career leap, you need to make sure that you are actually ready for the jump. So if you're about to dive into something new, make sure you've got a solid foundation, whether it's through learning, mentorship, or skill building. You really need to make sure that that foundation is solid. And this really took effect of me because when I took the job that I just got laid off from, well, I got laid off like a year ago. But when I got laid off from that job, I realized when I took that job that I was taking a big career risk, right? Because I knew they wanted to get into something new that they've never done before, which I did, but I didn't really see the path on how was it going to work for them. And I knew that going in, but I took the leap anyway because the job offered great benefits, opportunity to travel, great salary, and I was able to work from home. So it was just like a perfect fit for me to be on that like hashtag reclaim my time type of thing. And I realized that I knew that it was going to come with some pressure, and the pressure was on me. The pressure was on me to really figure this thing out. And I think that I just didn't figure it out fast enough. And when I got laid off, I wasn't surprised. I just wasn't prepared. Right. But I think that if you're going to take a leap, if you're going to take a leap into a job that maybe you're not sure about, if you're going to take a leap into entrepreneurship, just make sure your foundation is solid, that you know what you're going into and that you're okay with whatever the outcome may be, whether that means you win or you might have to walk away. I think that's important when it comes to taking those type of leaps, right? Now, on to mistake number 2, because we're talking about mistakes I made. Number 2, I think, is overcommitting and people pleasing. And I kind of mentioned this in the last episode. And this one here has been a lifelong lesson, let me tell you, because I did a lot of this with family and friends. You know, there was a time when I just couldn't say no. I had to say yes to every project, every favor, every event, every request. And eventually I was running on empty. I was so busy trying to make like everyone else happy that I ended up exhausted, burnt out, and honestly, I think you become a little resentful to the people that ask. But what I learned was that saying no isn't selfish, it's necessary for self-preservation. You have to be able to have something left for yourself. When you're just saying yes to everything and you're not really fully committing to everything, you can't really give all of it your attention. And then it takes away from everything that you want to do. And then it puts you in this stressful place that you begin to feel resentful. You begin to say to yourself, why did I even take this on? Why did I say yes to this person? Then you go to that thing of like, why does this person always ask me to do something? I started feeling that way. But setting boundaries, I think, really allows us to show up as our best selves, not just for others, but also for ourselves. So being able to set boundaries, being able to just say no sometimes is okay to do it. Let's stop people pleasing. Let's stop overextending ourselves. right? Taking on too much that we know we really can't do, or either too much we know we don't want to do. Because a lot of times things that I took on, I didn't really want to do them. I didn't really want to do them. I just did them simply because people asked and I felt like I had to. I don't know what it is with a people pleaser. You feel like, and I don't define myself as a people pleasing person, but I know I've done some of that in my life. But when people ask you for something, especially my family, when they ask me for something, I felt like at that time that I had to do it. Like I felt like I couldn't say no. And now I'm just in such a place where saying no doesn't bother me at all. I don't care what the other person feel about no kind of way when I say no, because I know I'm saying no for me and the things that I need to do for myself. Because every time I work on something for someone else and push back what I need to do, then I put their stuff, I make them feel like what they have is more important than what I have going on. And I have to say no. I really do. And I begun to feel okay with it. I stopped beating myself up for it. I stopped saying, feeling like I wasn't being a good person, being a good friend, being a good sister or daughter. I really had to learn to put myself first at times. And I think it's okay to do that. So if you're out there people pleasing and you know you're overextending yourself, try to find a way to set boundaries, right? You know who those people are who come to you for everything. And mainly those people who do that are really just takers. They don't give. They never give to you. They just take from you. And you know who they are. So just try to make sure that you begin to set boundaries and put yourself first. It's okay to do it. It's okay to do it. And I know as moms, it's sometimes, we can feel mom guilt, but sometimes you got to say no even to the kids. You got to say no even to the husband just to give yourself a break, just to say, you know what? I have to do something for me. You're so busy doing everything for everyone else that you really need to learn to do something for yourself. And I think that's okay to do. So let's move on to mistake number 3. And it's all about ignoring red flags in relationships. And I know that we are all guilty of this. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships here, right? Because that's not this type of podcast, but we can go on about those type of red flags, honey. Trust me, I know. But this includes friendships and professional connections too. Those professional connections where it's just really one way. It's not a two-way kind of relationship. It's this person that consistently calls on you for something, always asking you for something. Friendships where you feel like you're overextending yourself for a friend and they never don't seem grateful, or they don't return favors. So there are so many times that I felt like I was off, but I ignored it. And the truth is, every time I dismissed like those red flags, I ended up hurt in the end. And the takeaway here is to trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Remember that. One thing I can tell you about me, and I know you know this about yourself, you can trust yourself. You can trust yourself and you can believe yourself. So respect yourself enough to walk away from situations that really just don't serve you. Some friendships go on for way too long, right? Some professional relationships go on for way too long. Some personal romantic relationships, marriages, everything go on for way too long when really it's time to walk away. And sometimes walking away means you have to build up the strength to do it. I know how that feels. I know I was in a relationship before and I had to build up the strength to actually leave this person, because when I felt like I was ready to leave, I really felt like I was losing something, right? I really felt like I was losing something of value, some kind of something. But when I finally did walk away, my life changed so much for the better, so much for the better. And I think that goes hand in hand when it comes to professional relationships. Goes hand in hand when when you're not feeling right about a partnership, right? Or some kind of opportunity that may come your way for either career or business. And there's things just seem kind of off. Trust yourself when it comes to that. Trust your gut to know that if you're feeling like that, then that means something is off. All money isn't good money. People tell you that. Every partnership isn't a good partnership. Every relationship isn't a good relationship. Every friendship isn't always a good friendship. And we know that when it comes to friendships, we have those friends that we've probably been friends with for years. And we keep saying to ourselves, I don't know why I'm still friends with her. I don't know why I'm still friends with him. You know what I mean? So we need to take that into account. And I'm not telling you to go through your friends list and start checking names off and start getting rid of people, but it's also a gradual thing that we can do, meaning just to pull ourselves away or either just to set those boundaries. where if they come to you for something, you know what I mean? You're like, I don't think so. Keep asking you to borrow money. I don't have it. That kind of thing. Pay attention to the ones that you can actually depend on. Pay attention to the relationship that actually serve you. Those are the ones that are most important. All right. So now mistake number 4, underestimating the power of financial literacy. And this one really affected me with my layoff. But I can tell you that one, I didn't grow up talking about money. For a long time, I just didn't know what I was doing financially, right? I made all this money, but I wasn't really financially responsible. I made so many poor choices out of just sheer, I feel like, ignorance. And I know that handling finances isn't always the most exciting thing. Like financial literacy is not the most exciting thing, right? But trust me, it's one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. Learning how to manage your money can be the most powerful thing you have. It's a game changer in both your personal and professional life. And I wish I did better when I was working and had the money coming in like I did. And I wish I set myself up better, but I didn't. And I was okay with saying that out loud and saying that, okay, you know what, Shaunie, you didn't do well financially. You didn't save like you were supposed to. You didn't put certain things first. You wasn't really financial responsible. And I think people think being financial responsible only means that I'm paying my bills. Because in my eyes, that was me being financially responsible. I defined it saying, I'm paying my bills. I go to work every day. I pay my bills. That's me being financially responsible. I'm not, taking my money and taking my bill money and doing something else with it. I'm paying my bills. But it goes beyond that. It goes beyond just paying the bills. It goes beyond to like saving, investing, really setting up for your future. And I feel like sometimes when we're young, we don't think about the future. We just don't. We live for the now, that whole YOLO thing, right? We live for what's going on right now. We don't think about how to plan ahead. And I guess, of course, times now are really changing where people are really becoming a lot more financially illiterate. But I just feel like I just wasn't there. And that was a huge mistake of mine. I learned a very big lesson from that. Like now and going forward, financial responsibility and financial literacy is something I'm so into. Diversifying, understand how to manage my money. No matter how much money I have, I need to understand how to manage that money. No matter where you are in your life, I don't care if you're making minimum wage up to 6, 7 figures, you need to understand how to manage that money well. We see it happen all the time where people who are making all these millions of dollars and all of a sudden when something is gone, they're broke. And that's because they don't know how to manage their money. They didn't learn how to manage their money. They had other people doing it for them. They never took the time to understand financial literacy themselves. So please, if you're listening, learn how to be financially responsible more than just paying your bills, but understand how to make your money work for you. That's one of the main things I think we really have to understand. And finally, mistake number 5 is not taking care of my mental health. I think during the time that I grew up, because as you guys know, I'm 49. And when I grew up, when we were young, mental health was not something you talked about. Like it was taboo, right? It was something you didn't even talk about with your family. Like we all had that family member who we knew was a little off, but we never called it mental health, right? We called it something else, a little bit more derogatory. And so we never paid attention to, but we never recognized that we too have our own mental health issues. We just kind of pushed them under the rug. We didn't really talk about them. Like if you're feeling down, depressed, anxiety, you don't talk about that. It's just something we just did not do. And I used to think that I could handle everything on my own. I was such that girl that was beat my chest like superwoman, right? That I can handle everything on my own, every emotion, everything that comes at me, no matter what. But I learned the hard way that bottling up everything and pushing through isn't strength at all. It's denial. It is denial. And we're so good at saying, you know what? I pick myself up and I push through. That's not strength. That's just denial. I really had to start prioritizing my mental health, whether it was through therapy, mindfulness practices, right? Meditation, or simply just taking time to recharge. Like being able to pause and remove yourself from some things, social media, social settings, whatever it may be, just to take time to pause and recharge. That's why I think that self-care Sunday is such like a big thing and is such a huge part of trending self-care, because that's us taking care of ourselves to recharge, pampering ourselves, making ourselves feel good. I just want you to remember that taking care of your mind is just as important as taking care of your body, if not most important. Our mindset is everything we do. What we think and how we feel defines our entire life. And working on your mental health really does set the trajectory for your life in a positive or a negative way. So we have to work on it. You know, I told you guys that I'm on 75 hard, and I have fallen off so many times. And I just said to a friend the other day that I don't know why I can't find the will to be disciplined when it comes to my eating. Like, I'll get up, I'll work out, I'm regimented, I'll do that. But if I'm not going to eat right, then what am I doing all this for? And so it's been a struggle for me on my 75 hard journey, because I have not been eating right. And I feel like the weight that I have on me is the most weight I've had on me in my entire life. And so I know everything has to do with my mindset. It is my mindset. It is my mind not allowing me to push through for some reason, that I still just want to eat whatever I want to eat instead of being more healthy about my choices. And so I was just telling my friend, like I said, that I need to be more intentional. I need some intentionality during this challenge, because this challenge is serious. It's not for the weak. If you can't do it, don't do it. It is a real commitment. And I think that's where I just went into this like a little bit blindly, thinking I could just do it my own way, right? No, I have to be real committed to it. So here I am now restarting, right? And I mean restarting with eating, saying, okay, you know what? Today I'm going to make better choices. I'm going to start small. I'm going to make better choices. And that's where your mind comes into play. Your mental health comes into play, because everything has to do with that. And so I'm still fighting through that, but I'm going to get through it, and I'm going to come out winning on at the end. I promise you guys. And I'll be telling you guys a whole new story in a few episodes. So there you have it, guys. Those are my 5 major mistakes that I know changed my life in big ways. Each one of these lessons I feel taught me has helped, each one that has helped me become stronger and more self-aware. And I think hopefully a little wiser. And that's really what I think the journey is all about, right? That's what we want to see. We are learning from my past and using those lessons to shape a better future for us. And I think that's what I love so much about the podcast, is that I get to talk to women who inspire me all the time and listen to their journey and understanding where they were, their ups and downs, their highs and lows, of course, throughout their journey, and to see them where they are, right? To see the end result of them saying, I pushed through, that I made it through. I stayed strong. I stayed committed. I worked on my mindset. I stayed disciplined. It does resonate with me. And I'm hoping to stay on my own journey and to find that same strength to be disciplined and to push through. Now, if any of these mistakes I've mentioned today resonated with you, or if you even made your own life altering mistakes, I would love to hear about it. You know, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram, drop us a DM, a comment at Girl to Know Pod, also on TikTok, Facebook, whatever one. If you're watching on YouTube, drop us a comment there too, and let us know, you know, how this episode inspired you, or what mistakes you've made that changed your life. Let's keep this conversation going, because we can all learn from each other's journey. And that's what I love about this community, the Girl Take Note community. So guys, listen, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Remember that every mistake is a stepping stone to a path to becoming the best version of yourself. So until next time, keep growing, keep glowing, and most importantly, keep taking notes. I'll talk to you guys in the next episode.